What's up? Hey guys, we're going to get straight into it. Warzone dropped yesterday. It's dropping for everyone on the 9th, dropped for anyone with pre-orders yesterday. I've had a day playing it, the new Caldera, so we're going to talk about it real quick and give my first impressions of it, sorry. Firstly, I've got no footage from it because I think that Ricochet software that they're using for the anti-cheat must stop overlays or something like that, so my NVIDIA capture isn't working on it. But I had to get a dub on it. I got a win, and I can't even record it. But I do get the calling card, so I got a calling card. It was well worth 4 hours. The game itself. So Caldera, the map, I don't mind the map. It's all right. It's different. I sort of wish they left both maps to be able to pick from. I wish you could load into Verdansk or Caldera. Maybe it was on rotation or something. I think that'd be pretty cool. The volume in the new Caldera map for like the Stukas or the Hurricanes or the Spitfires, whatever they've got flying overhead, is just insanely too loud. It is way too loud and it needs to be nerfed hectically. You can't hear anything. The footsteps are just stupid and they're not even coming from around you. It's there's quite a few bugs in this new map already. As for the weapons, I was right with my prediction. The automaton does slap on it, but when I say slap, I mean it's the best of a bad bunch. None of the weapons are, in my opinion, very good. The MP40, again, you're up close, it's pretty good. The Thompson, up close, pretty good. The PPSH, up close, pretty good. They do melt very close, so you've got to be very close. The automaton or the G43, they're the only two that I'd use for mid to long range engagements. Maybe if you're really good, and I do have a mate that is using the Car 98 on it. He's doing really good. He's doing really good on it, but I can't replicate how good he is at the Car 98. It's so slow. It is so slow. So today, Plunder's finally dropping in, so I believe they're about to integrate all the new weapons, or sorry, I should say the old weapons into the new Caldera. So that should give a bit more variety, which would be good because you're getting some fast-acting rifles that actually hit hard will be great. You've got the Bren gun and the bar. They punch pretty hard, but the rates of fire is just bad. And look, I know it's a Bren gun, and it's what they used to use, and they've got the gravity-fed magazine up the top. But when you're versing other weapons that don't impede your vision on such a fast-paced game like so, it's just not that great either. There's virtually no really good weapons to use in there, I wouldn't say. Again, automated would be my pick. We got a dub. You got a dub using the automated on the G43. 9 kills with it. It goes all right, but compared to the Modern Warfare or Black Ops weapons, it's not that great. So, sorry I haven't uploaded for about a week or so. I've actually been playing another game, or I was playing another game, Scum, and I'll be doing a review on that one. And also, I'll be doing my review on the Aftershock PC, but I'm having difficulties getting in touch with Aftershock, as usual, which will be one of my gripes, to go over all the specs and make sure I get everything right when I'm speaking about the PC. Obviously, the guys there are pretty handy and pretty helpful. They know exactly what's going on. So just waiting for them to get back to me, and hopefully I'll be able to drop that review relatively shortly. Moving on, though, back to what we were originally speaking about, which is the new map, Caldera for Warzone, and let me just say, there's some really good and some really bad parts. The map does look very good, very pretty, the graphics are really good, the game flows really well, the movement in the game is really good as well. It's just based off the Modern Warfare, the Warzone engine. It's the same thing. You've played Warzone, you've played Caldera. It's just a new map. It's just like any other map they throw in a multiplayer sort of rotation, except without the rotation, which is annoying because I don't really want to be stuck on this same map. I think it's definitely, it's good for a change, but I can definitely see myself getting bored of this map pretty quickly. Given that it's sort of older, there's just not as much, I don't know, verticality, buildings. It's good for foliage. Like, as an ex-grunt myself, I was running along and I'm looking at the foliage going, wow, if I use the Golem operator or even the Grinch operator, someone with a ghillie suit on, I could drop down and hide relatively well in this sort of scenery environment. However, that just really does promote camping, and it's a very... Every map's campy, I guess. It depends on the player. But it's very open, apart from the foliage. So you've got a lot of concealment, but not much cover. So you can hide behind things and not really be seen, but you can still be shot. Cover is when you can't be touched, and you're out of view as well. So you can conceal yourself within the foliage, but there's minimal cover when you're moving from area to area. And there's really only a few key big points. Whereas the Warzone, yeah, you did have some open parts from the airfield up over to the military base areas, relatively open. You do have some open areas, but I think they filled that map a bit better. There's going to be some updates. It's not horrible. It's not the best. Again, the noises in it are just, the audio is just really bad, really bad, and it's hard to depict. When I'm shooting at a plane sometimes or anything like that, the pings when I'm hitting it actually come from behind. Like, they sound like they're coming behind me. So I get the whiz of it flying off, but the crack comes from behind me, and that's confusing. You're like, am I being shot at? Am I in contact right now? And you're looking around trying to find what's going on. There's nothing going on. It's just you shooting at a plane or hitting it, and it's just making strange noises, or any of the vehicles or anything like that. Even the walls, anything you hit sort of sounds like it's coming from behind you. That's my experience anyway. As for the Ricochet anti-cheat, I think all it's done is stopped my NVIDIA capture from working on it properly. As far as it goes to stopping hackers, I jumped out of a plane yesterday with the rest of my squad, and all of us, bar one, got headshotted out. This guy could be good, but he took out half the lobby, and that's where I was like, he's not. No one's that good. He wiped out my squad and others just on the way down, just with his pistol, just wiped us out. And like, it was coming from a fair way away. He was. So I'd like to say, Ricochet anti-cheat, all you've done is stop me from being able to capture game footage, and you've really done nothing else. You have achieved very little. Maybe you've stopped some screen overlays, like maybe wall hacks. I don't know. I've never downloaded a cheat. I don't know how they really work. I'm guessing they would put an overlay on the screen though, maybe. And if that's how they work, then I think that's all that's really stopped. As opposed to maybe if anyone's, again, I don't know how cheating works. I don't know how the hacks sort of work. But if anyone's, getting into it, into the game code, source for, I don't know, anything, I don't know. But if they're good, because they are, and there's guys that are hacking and they're in the game still, they're still in the game. This stopped nothing. It stopped absolutely nothing except for anybody who wants to record something not being able to record it. My other two mates suffer the same problem as well. They couldn't record any of their stuff. So I don't know what that's about. I'd like to speak to some of the Call of Duty developers and maybe tell them to sort this shit out. Buff some of the weapons. They're all horrible. Buff the ADS speed on all the snipers. They're disgusting. On all the Vanguard weapons, that is. And all around, basically, make something decent. It's been, this is the third crack at it now. So we've had Modern Warfare, we've had Black Ops, and now we've got Vanguard. So we've got 3 different studios, and I understand they're all in their infancy of giving stuff a go. And I'm pretty keen for the Modern Warfare 2 to come out. I think that's really going to make some big improvements on things, as they were the first ones they were first cab off the rank. They've given everything a crack. They implemented the season battle pass systems. They implemented the new maps, the Warzone, all that sort of stuff. And everyone's sort of built off them. However, I feel like each studio is almost working separately from each other. And there's very little communication, because apart from sharing engines and sharing skins or stuff like that, the games still are almost like the very first one each time. And I understand they're the very first one in their line, but they're not the very first Call of Duty game. And they should be building off what the others made. They should be implementing new features that improve the game, not taking some out here, putting like completely different ones in again, taking more out from there, not using that, but then straying away from this. Stop changing every little thing up, because you can tell they're individual studios and they're literally just working like individual players. You don't have a team. You've got individuals that make up a team, if you know what I'm saying. They're individuals that are on the same team, but they're playing an individual game completely. Obviously, it's not straying so far it's ridiculous. It's still Call of Duty, but it's just not improved on to the extent that you would believe it would be. I believe there's just no real lines of communication going between these studios saying, you know, let's maintain this, let's not maintain this, or let's just push forward with this and just keep building on it. Like, now all of a sudden you've got 10 weapon attachments. How is this going to integrate with other weapons? Like, they come out and they give us press releases. They give us all sorts of different things. But what we get at an end result is almost different again. Like, we can all sit here and talk about the predictions and what we think's going to happen, which is basically all of YouTubers do. They just think about what they think, because next to none of them are embedded with these studios. And the ones that do cop some leaks are generally from like the gaming revolution, or the same people, the Tom Henderson and that sort of stuff, I think his name is. The same people that we always go through anyway, that everybody always gets their information from. So there's no variety information. And even though these leakers are relatively accurate, again, the product we're getting at the end result is still a mess. They may be accurate in some senses, but how could you not have the audios on the planes that are going overhead corrected by basically, you know, for the want of a better word, a season 3 of Warzone, you know? We've got, obviously, again, we've got the Modern Warfare variant, the Black Ops variant, and now the Vanguard variant. And they're just so disjointed. Like, none of them have just built off each other. It doesn't feel like, apart from using the same engine, they just don't flow together. And you've always got Black Ops weapons being meta, or Modern Warfare weapons being meta, and right now none of these Vanguards, and I don't care what anybody else says, none of the Vanguard weapons are meta right now. They're horrible weapons. In Vanguard itself, they absolutely slap, you know. Obviously it's the only weapons in the game, and everything is made for that game, that style, that damage output, everything like that is made for that game. And yet now they got to bring it into Warzone, and it's just a completely different game again, mate. It's horrible. It's like Caldera, it looks nice, again, very pretty map, but it's just so disjointed with the rest of Modern Warfare now. And what are they doing? Like, what are they doing? Don't get me wrong, it's fun, and I still look, again, I used to be a mad Battlefield fan. It's still more fun than Battlefield, 110%. But I found myself going black and playing Resurgence last night, because I actually felt like the weapons were actually downing people, doing damage. I finished one game with 1,400 damage and like no kills. I just couldn't, from at a distance, finish people off. Like, it just, because the weapons, I would drop 45 to 50, 45 to 50 rounds out of my automated 75 round drum mag, and I'm landing shots. Like, I'm landing my shots, and I'm getting downs, cracks. They're just being able to evade everything. And in a war like game, in, you know, it's arcade, not milsim, but like the chance these guys get to get away once you start spraying them, even the chance we get to get away when you start getting sprayed, is just, I think, ridiculous. Like, you can get contacted and you've got, you're like, all right, we're getting ticked up. I've lost 2 armor plates from his 80 rounds spent. I'm going to go dip, put some plates back in, and come out and see what's going on again. Like, there's none of that unless they're really close. Like, the very close range engagements are very cutthroat. But again, you've got to get to those close range engagements. And in the type of map that it is, unless you're in one of the city districts areas, or sub-pens, mill bases, something like that, the engagements spread over the rest of the map are generally at a very long distance. That's what I noticed. When we won our one, it was at it was at one of the airfields. I was sitting there with a G43 and automate, and like just picking them off as they were coming in. And that was that was it. It wasn't a very rushed adrenaline sort of a, like, oh God, they're getting close, this is getting wild and hectic. It was all positioning. As long as you position yourself well in that map, you will do really well. It's like the circle even, I wouldn't say moves greatly. It almost literally just drops straight in on itself. That's what I've noticed anyway. I played about 20 games on there, 30 games, and it literally every time, maybe when it was really small, it would dart around a little bit, but other than that, there was next to no darting around. It was basically where it was, and you could position yourself to get to that area relatively well. That's when we could be bothered positioning ourselves. Most of the games we spent wanting to drop in new areas to obviously have a look at them. Now that Plunder's released, we're going to be able to look at even more. So I'll be jumping on there shortly. So to summarise and in conclusion of my video, look, it's pretty, it's fun. It's pretty good. You know, I've talked about the bad, but you've got to get in there and give it a crack. Like it's still, it's not bad. Like it's not too bad, but at the same time, it's so disjointed. Like there's so many issues that by this stage, the third year of a Warzone integration, or you would think they would have so many of these problems nutted out. Now, I'm not a dev or anything like that, so I don't actually know what goes into making these maps work. So maybe I can't be so harsh on it. However, I would think they would have a broad, generalized, and a general rule for everything. Like, all right, guys, our planes going over are going to be at this audio level. Our helicopters, if any, are at this level. Our weapon firing noise is at this level. Our movement speed is this level. Basing every game so they're only then advancing off the other and improving. And obviously you're still going to get some stuff that people don't like, and I fully accept that. Maybe this is just my opinion and everyone else loves the map. But you're always going to get those few things that still people don't like if you move them in or out. But the idea is advancing and progressing, evolving, but not evolving in complete different offshoots like it is doing. If you'd call it evolving, I wouldn't even call it evolving because it's so separate from the others. In the same sense, it is still so separate. So anyway, that's my initial thoughts. Still, if you're going to use a weapon in there, guys, go the Automaton, PPSH, MP40s for up close. G43 has no recoil on it. If you're good enough, the car is very slow ADS speed though, but if you are good enough like one of my mates, go the car. At least it's got a punch to it. That's probably really one of the only weapons I know with a big punch, apart from the bar or the Bren or that, which are then so obnoxious to use because it's like running with a log in your arms. It's literally like running with a log, and you're like, how can this feel so heavy from every other game, and how can it feel so slow? Again, they need to just make a rule of thumb that stuff be relatively similar. Therefore, when we jump on, we're not needing to change our keyboard, mouse layouts, button layouts, anything like that. Not needing up or down sensitivity. We can switch between the three and have our different multiplayers, different weapons, stuff like that. But when you amalgamate it all into the one Warzone map, you have the same feeling. So you're not getting used to something. You're not going, oh, this is so much slower than Vanguard's movement, or this is so much slower than Modern Warfare snipers. This is so much slower than Black Ops SMGs. You're not getting this huge differential between everything. So that would be my biggest thing. If we could speak to Treyarch, Infinity Ward, just all those punks, fix your shit, sort it out. Stop being lazy. Start communicating with the other studios as well. Like, it's not even that hard. Like, I don't think it is. Again, I'm not a dev, but like, seriously, how hard is it just to call up Barry and be like, oi, Baz, mate, what's your movement speed set at? And he'd be like, yeah, brother, get it this one, bro. And you'd be like, yeah, tough, man. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that hard, surely. Hey, bro, what's your ADS speed for that weapon? We might slow this one a few frames down because it's a bigger sniper rifle. Yeah, sweet, I'll cop that. But not the same Car 98 in a different game of the same, like, Activison being totally different from another one. Like, why am I even getting two Car 98s anyway? They should be the same. They're both the same weapon. Like, unless you're giving me a variant of a weapon, It should be the same. If you give me a stock standard Car 98 and a stock standard Car 98, the bullet velocity should be the same. The reload should be the same. The magazine capacity should be the same, or the clips they're using in them. Everything, the length of the weapon should be the same. It is literally based off the Car 98 rifle, and unless you're giving me a variant, it should be the same. Anyway, so those are my gripes with the game. It is still fun though. I definitely think they're going to improve it. I definitely hope that they improve Battlefield, because I've tried that again a few times and I'm still not sold on that game. They still look plastic. Rather disappointing, isn't it? Anyway, guys, until then, this is Ali Chaos, out.